something always happen before I go live. So I had to sneeze. So without trying to put myself together so I can say everything right. What's going on, everybody? This is Chris Classic dropping a couch vlog. I'm enjoying my off day for the most part. I gotta finish cleaning, gotta work out, the whole nine yards. But I did want to speak about two things. So I wanted to go live with it. I've been getting a lot of more views with lives and a lot of engagement. So I want to try to do more of that. And I also promised that I was going to do more lives. I usually do something where I multicast to other platforms like my Facebook and everything. But, YouTube is just where it's at for the time being. What's going on, Raphael? God bless you. Nobody tells you today, remember that God loves you, Christ loves you, and I love you as well. I'm praying for you guys. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, the Take It Home Podcast, where I talk about professional wrestling topics, and I put up my matches as Classic Alpha, a professional wrestler of 13 years. Make sure you also subscribe to C3 Ultimate Wrestling. That is me and my wife's professional wrestling company. We just got it back 100% full control. And I'm going to say this now. There is a lot of stuff that's lined up, and hopefully everything works out, Lord willing, for C3 Ultimate Wrestling down the line. God bless you too. Everything's good. Everything's good. Just enjoying my off day, but I did want to go live and talk about two topics. The first one is Bully Ray's comments about AEW. Now, if you are a subscriber or a new watcher or subscriber, you do know that like I am critical on wrestling in general. It's not just WWE. It's AEW. It could be TNA. It could be Independence. It could be a lot of stuff. I review my own shows on this channel. What I liked and stuff like that. So AEW is definitely one of those ones where a lot of people can agree with what somebody says, but then you also have people that have come out in droves that will heavily disagree. Oh, well, give it time, or they just started. Oh, well, WWE is doing this, or TNA is doing that, or Tony is for the people, Tony is for the sickos, and all of this stuff. And I say this is nobody is above criticism. Tony's company isn't above criticism. None of these other companies that was said is above criticism. So when people try to sit here and say, oh, well, give it time. No, if I watch one show, if I watch the first episode, I can criticize that first episode. Could they turn it around within the next few episodes or the next episode? Sure. But at the same time, I could still have that right to say, hey, I didn't like this and I didn't like that. I love all wrestling promotion, lots of great wrestling. It's a lot of good promotions. And like I said, a lot of these companies out there, they're not C3 Ultimate Wrestling, obviously, but at the same time, some things are great. Some things have promise and stuff. For the past few months, I've been very critical about WWE. I've been talking about the product. I've been talking about Paul. I've been talking about the storylines, which I'm going to talk about a storyline the second half of this video. I like a lot of the promotions, but then I also disagree with some of the stuff. And I'm sure some people who probably will watch C3 Ultimate Wrestling, my company will probably feel a certain way too. But probably more positive than negative because the love that I've getting back, and I appreciate you guys for even like giving it care. So Bully Ray has been very critical on AEW. He's been very critical on a lot of stuff. And I remember one time he was very critical. I remember AEW did a ladder match. I forgot what match it was, but what happened was when the person was climbing the ladder, I guess the ladder was about to break. So they had like all the referees grab pieces of the ladder to hold it up so the person can get the thing to win. And I remember Bully Ray, who was wrestling for Impact Wrestling at the time, he he made the referees hold the ladder because he was making a joke, and I thought that was so petty. I thought that was Petty Murphy right there. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff, but still, his latest comments about AEW, it got a response from Ricochet, of course, and it got a response from other people online and stuff. So I wanted to break that down. What's going on, SMP? I agree. At the end of the day, we're viewers and spectators, so yeah, we could like the product and not like it and not feel bad about it. And that's what I say this. Like, I know a lot of wrestlers, they are very critical on fans, right? Me, I'll say this. I don't like when some use our terminology or feel like an entitlement to the locker room. But at the same time, we're doing this for fans for the most part. Some people are doing it for a hobby, some are doing it to deal with a lot of things, but we want a lot of fans to see the art and the magic that we create. So if they're feeling a certain way, if they could say it without the terminology and not being disrespectful, I don't mind it. There's a lot of people, S&P, Arshawn, Yella, other people that I'm really, really cool with. They may disagree with how I feel about certain things, and that's fine. It doesn't mean that how dare they or whatever. I just know more. I mean, they are consumers as much as I am a consumer. I'm a producer and a consumer, so definitely understand that. But this is what Bully Ray said about AEW a couple days ago. He said, "Unfortunate, but AEW as a product is lost. There's certainly some bright spots, which was talent, but as a company lacks definitive direction. Is what it is." I'm assuming it's supposed to say it is what it is. A company owned and operated by a fan with lots of money. TK, good guy, good heart, not a booker, and the boys know it. Obviously, terminology for the locker room, but still. So even Ricochet, who has basically doing the right thing for the most part, he's defending the company that is paying him and that he's wrestling for. He said he 100% disagree, and he said the boys' comment was an ignorant thing to say. I don't think it was ignorant. I think that, especially being a wrestler himself and me being a wrestler too, we know what he means when he says it. It's no racial undertone. It's nothing to be disrespectful when he say the boys, but it is what it is. I agree 100% with Bully Ray, though. I 100% agree. They have bright spots, which is the talent. They have some good matches, and then they don't have good matches. They have a lot of they have special matches. You have too many special matches. Imagine seeing a Hell in a Cell every Monday on Raw. Imagine seeing one of those every Monday. You will probably get tired of it by the second or the third week of seeing it. Like, come on, man. Like, you will get tired of seeing Falls Count anyway. And I've talked about this. WWE PLE's been doing this stuff. What was it? It wasn't Backlash. It was something. It was one of these more recent PLEs where one match was a cage match. Lyra and Becky had a Falls Count anywhere. John Cena and Cody had the anything goes. It was like so many matches. Oh, the ladder match. What was it? It was SummerSlam. That's right. It was SummerSlam. SummerSlam had all of this stuff in one night. And I was exhausted by the time that main event happened. And mind you, it was a good main event. But at the same time, they had like 4 matches that had no DQ, basically. So AEW, to me, that's like one of the main things that sticks out when I look at AEW is that you're always going to see blood every week. You're going to see somebody get hit with something. You're going to see a crazy move and things like that. And I think that's what happens. It fizzled out. I think Money in the Bank pay-per-view Night of Champions or something. Yeah, it was a lot of matches that was just like, these are repetitive. Like, we just seen the same match just with different people. So I don't think he's wrong when he says this. It's no direction. One day this person's a good guy, the next person is bad. Chris Statlander, for example, right? Very popular female competitor. She was bad and she turned on Willow and then eventually started being cool with Willow just all of a sudden, and then all this other stuff. Some of the matches that they do don't make sense. Like, to me, as a promoter, you have to sell your match to make it interesting. I remember it wasn't that long ago, they was having like fatal 4-way matches where the winner wins $100,000. Why is that appealing to me as a consumer, as somebody that's watching the show? Like, am I going to watch it and be like, oh, well, I hope such and such wins this $100,000? Like, this isn't like a game show like The Price is Right or Deal or No Deal and stuff like that, where that's like the main focus of to see if somebody's going to get this money. Who wants to be a millionaire? I don't think a lot of people want to see that when it comes to wrestling. I mean, a lot of people talked about when Vince McMahon was doing that thing where he was giving away money and was calling people live or whatever. It was like, okay, it was interesting, and obviously a lot of people wanted to be involved with it because it was fans. It was fan interaction. That's what that was. It wasn't like the wrestlers are going to get it. Sure, you can have storylines where money is involved and all of that, but come on, man. I'm not trying to see no match. Oh, $100,000 is on the line. because you want to make them basically give more of a care to wrestle and put on top tier matches. It just doesn't work. You see, so that's how I feel about it. It's other stuff too. It's like Moxley's championship run with the Death Riders and stuff. What was the point of the Death Riders? I don't. It had no direction. Death Riders had no direction, and then the longer they went, the more out of direction that they had. All right, we're coming. We're taking our company back, Moxley. We're taking our company back. So okay, you're anti-establishment, so you're against Tony and stuff. But then you teamed with Young Bucks, who was basically part of the establishment. Like, what are we doing here? Y'all. He beat Bryan Danielson for the AEW World Title after he had just won it against Swerve not too long before that. What direction are we going here? Like, what position? He put the belt in a bag and we didn't see it for months. And it was so bad that I don't think anybody even remembered that the belt was in the bag because nobody really cared about it. Nobody really cared about it. Yeah, Tony didn't know what to do with it. And that's going to another thing. You know, Bully said, good guy, good heart, not a booker. I agree. He's the owner of a company. He owns it. He pays people. He rents stuff. He's just not a good booker. And I can say that with confidence. There's a lot of people who work with other people when they run company. You have somebody that can be the promoter that promotes. It's their company. They're promoting it. They're doing everything. They're paying stuff. And then you have the booker. The booker is the person that puts the show together, obviously, and stacks everything together. So that's what some people do. There's a lot of companies that are like that to make this magic. And that's fine. That is definitely fine. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. There's something that's going on that happened in Illinois where it was an incident that happened and everybody's pointing fingers at the investor, the booker, the promoter. It's a whole bunch of stuff. But I don't think that Tony is just cut like that to be what he wants to be. And that's not a bad thing. Some people are going to take it as it, but still, Tony, you don't know what to do. Like, we can't sit here and just be like, oh, give it time. We can't give it time. It's almost 6 or 7 years. Now, if you are still an uber fan of AEW, that is your choice. And if you like Tony, that's cool too. I have nothing against him. I have no ill will towards Tony. But at the same time, you know, just socially, just trying to see him talk and promote, it just doesn't work. And everybody's heard the rumblings that they've been trying to ask people, hey, Tony, why don't you let this person do this? And then Tony is like, no, because this is his product. Now, and I get it. It's your money, it's your dime, it's your father's money and all of that stuff. So, you don't want nobody to try to have any input and try to run what you run. But then when he does have people, it's people like Jericho and Moxley, where I don't think these two guys are great locker room leaders. You have Jericho, who turns around and does almost everything, and everybody calls it the vortex, to the point that he started calling it the vortex. He thinks he could just do anything and it'll work, and it just didn't. Hi, guys. Y'all remember that? That didn't work. That didn't work. The Judas, does everybody singing Judas? That worked. Inner Circle worked. All that. Then he started being viral. A little bit of the bubbly. Like, all of this stuff was working to the point to where, like, Jericho was like, anything I do and say is gold. Now, I don't know what he's doing now. I don't watch AEW like I used to. I watch it from time to time. But still, Moxley, look at how Moxley's matches are. Those matches aren't good, in my opinion. You gotta always use blood. You gotta always cut somebody. You gotta bite somebody. You always gotta do something. And then having Claudio and Wheeler and Marina Shafir in there with white tees and stuff and all that, looking a little crazy, looking a little racial tensiony. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Does MJF still have the contract? Apparently, and this is a good point, Raphael. This is a good point. So apparently, from what I've seen, the tidbits of AEW, MJF still has the contract. But what happened was he had kidnapped Mark Briscoe and held him hostage and said he'll let him go if Hangman Adam Page agrees to a match against MJF. And if Adam uses any object or anything to try to disqualify himself, he loses the belt. And then also MJF will still have the contract. So apparently MJF still has a contract. Now, as a bad guy, that makes sense for the most part. But come on, man. Come on, man. Like, what we doing? What we doing, man? What we doing? I do think that Tony does need help. I do think that he needs somebody to help him make the show more solid and stuff like that. I do think that he does allow the wrong people to run stuff and try to put things together, and I think that that's the problem. I think he needs to find some people that care about the company and want the company to grow. Jericho always wanted to be like The Rock and Triple H, at least Vince eyes, which is why he loves Tony so much. He gives him that Vince gave Hunter, Austin, and Rock. I agree. That's why, like, a lot of people are like, it's a rumor that Jericho's going to WWE. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's too comfortable. And to be honest, Jericho was a selling point for me and a lot of people to watch AEW because of the podcast when he was on Bully Ray's podcast, which is very ironic because he's talking about AEW and what Bully Ray said about it. But yeah, he gives him a lot of stuff. Now, do I think that what Jericho has done in AEW equates to the magic of The Rock, Austin, and Triple H? No, I don't, because most of it is bad. Some of it is good, some of it is all right, but some of it is bad. I remember those COVID-19 matches where nobody was in the crowd. I remember him and Orange Cassidy fighting where the loser had to get thrown into like a bowl of orange juice and stuff. I remember the musical he had with MJF. Mind you, this was around the time where people was talking about they love AEW because it's real wrestling and it's no sports entertainment. When Chris Jericho literally is getting thrown into a big tub of orange juice and singing with MJF. But okay, it's real, it's legit. So that's how I feel about it. I think that people's visors of the infatuation visors, they finally took them off and they're starting to see some stuff. Now, they still have potential. They still have things, change things or whatever like that. But I don't know if they're going to or whatever. I don't know if they're going to. Like, you know, Tony promotes his company like he's supposed to and stuff like that. And then a lot of people have questions about certain things and about certain situations. But still, I do think that, like, it doesn't have a direction. And that's the worst thing you can do as a wrestling company is to not have direction. Because people might want to ask a question, hey, what are you doing with this? Or how you going with that? And if you don't answer that, then that's a problem. I remember John beating Jericho for the title. Yeah, I remember that too. And that was a thing too. I thought that Adam Page should have beat Jericho because that was when they was crowning their first champ. That would have been a stick to WWE because at the time WWE was relying on legends and old wrestlers to carry the championships and stuff. So this would have been a turn, I think, in a better direction if Page would have beat Jericho or if Page would have beat Jericho down the line. But that didn't happen. It didn't happen because people love Jericho and it was like, okay, well, Jericho, you're doing so much, so why don't I just make you the first AEW world champion? Now every championship this man wins, he's going to call himself a world champion, you know, ROH. They call that championship a world championship. I don't call it a world championship, but what do you call himself, the Ocho or whatever? Did he win it like 2 times, nine times or something? Like he calls himself a whole bunch of stuff and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But going back into it, Page wasn't ready at the time. I can agree, but AEW wasn't ready at the time. They wasn't ready at the time. Like I said, the biggest thing that a lot of people said when they wanted to watch AEW was, hey, it's a fresh breath of fresh air. Vince is stale. The storylines are stale. I'm not feeling that. Now younger people have an opportunity because they was booking people we ain't never seen before, people we may have heard on the independent circuit and stuff. As far as the Jericho thing is concerned, I understand why he won. You know, I think that Page and him could have had a storyline, but no, they preserved that for Moxley to take the belt off of Jericho, which was also a good choice as well because a lot of people still remember Moxley as being Dean Ambrose in WWE. So, still, as far as the direction goes, I definitely understand where Bully is coming from, what he's talking about. I can't sit there and say I disagree with any other statement. I do hope they do find direction. I think it's very important to find direction in a wrestling company because if you don't care, why should the fans care? So, very important. Learning Tree was blah when Jericho started thinking he's too cool. Yeah, that was a thing. Like, and people was like, oh, he was losing to people like Action Andretti and Eddie Kingston. But what happened after that? Where's Action Andretti? Come on, man. Like, projection and representation is very important. he had a decent storyline with Eddie Kingston, where Eddie Kingston was like, if I win, you have to shake my hand. Eddie beat him, and Jericho never shook his hand. He like walked away or something. Or did he shake it and kicked him? He did something. But that went into the blood and gut stuff. And that stuff was kind of interesting. But then they kept teeter-tottering, and then Eddie never got his comeuppance after that. Eddie beat him one time, but then after that, Jericho would win all kind of stuff. I'm just saying, man, it's just it just need a little direction. I wanted to also speak about AJ Styles real quick before I head on out. You guys know that AJ Styles, he cut a promo saying, he got to take care of Americano, and he lost to Dominic because of Americano. Then eventually he was like, I'm going to tell y'all something that nobody else knows. Somebody don't want me here. And then everybody's like, oh. I'm like, come on, man. I'm sick of this, y'all. Y'all got to stop this. Y'all got to stop this. Please stop this. Oh, somebody don't like me. Or, oh, I wasn't meant to be a WWE superstar. Then we just see this with Karrion Kross. Is this a story with Karrion Kross? I'm not interested. And it's nothing against Karrion Kross. And I love AJ Styles. AJ Styles is a wrestler that can still do the stuff that he did when he first started. And I'm talking about way back in the day. AJ Styles he was wrestling in WCW back in the day. He was with a tag team partner. They used to call themselves Air Styles. Well, he was Air Styles. I want to say the other guy was like Air Paris or something like that. Like, that man been in the game for a long, long time. Like, there's not a lot of people that can say they wrestle for WCW, TNA, and WWE, New Japan. It's not a lot of people that can say they've done that. And AJ Styles has done a lot. So now he's cutting a promo saying that somebody doesn't want me here. And, he's going to beat up Americano, which he did. He was aggressive and stuff. And the crowd was cheering for AJ Styles and stuff like that. Now, I'm sick of these storylines, man. I'm sick of these storylines where, oh, well, we're going to stick it to the man. Oh, forget you, Paul. Forget whoever's against me and stuff like that. Forget y'all. But the thing is, it works. The fans love it. They eat it up. They chant people's names. They was chanting Karrion Kross. They was chanting Becky. They was chanting all of these people who was anti-establishment. But the thing is, y'all do this anti-establishment storyline every time, a lot of times. Yeah, AJ Styles is a real wrestler, but yeah, he been in the game for a long time. Like I said, for him to be in the game that long and still do and can do the stuff that he did years ago, he's still, to me, he's one of the greatest wrestlers of all times. To me, he's one of my favorite active wrestlers on the WWE roster, honestly. But still, I don't have no. And then, Dragon Lee helped him, which was so random, by the way. But I know he's beefing with Americanos and all of the other stuff. But still, you say you don't have no help, and then Dragon Lee comes out. Still. The anti-establishment, oh, well, I'm not meant to be here, and I'm here to stay. It's played out. Made my phone fall. See, my phone is anti-establishment, too. It's played out. To me, it's definitely played out. I'm sick of this stuff. Like, imagine a Stone Cold Steve Austin storyline every 3 months with a different superstar. You'll get sick of it too. That's the same thing with Karrion Kross. That's the same thing with it was other people too. It was other stuff. Hey, nobody wants me around, but here I am. I'm going to show you guys why I should be a WWE superstar. Fam, just leave. Go somewhere else. And that goes into my other point, is that WWE feeds off of this. As soon as you say, hey, somebody don't like me back, people are going to love you. They're going to buy your t-shirts. They're going to support you. They're going to go to WWE shop. They're going to do a whole bunch of stuff because that's the formula. WWE is becoming very, very obvious with how they're doing their business model. And it's working for them because they're making a lot of money and breaking record and making gate. But still, you can literally just look at it and be like, oh, yep, they're going to make a lot of money now. They're definitely going to make a lot of money with this situation. The thing with Triple H is he books talent how he was booked in his career. Like, what storyline was different from his? No, I mean, you got a point. And also, what's going on, Mr. Mysterio? Another thing about it is he has his favorites too. And also, he's learned from Vince. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, Triple H, we finally got Triple H running it. I got a lot of people complaining about how Triple H is running stuff. You know, he learned the game from Vince, his pops. His pops in law, but his pops. So I don't understand why people thought like a whole bunch of stuff was just gonna change. Now the money might have changed, but still, this storyline about somebody don't want me here, and then people are like, oh, it has to be a shoot, it has to be, fam, ain't no way this dude spoke about that and then had a match later that night. Y'all gotta y'all gotta stop that. Stop it. Stop it. Now y'all gotta stop doing that, for real. Just enjoy, I would say just enjoy the show, enjoy the ride, like The Rock said, but no, I don't even want to say that. But I don't blame Hunter. He's his daddy's son, and the son just yeah. I'm not mad at that neither. I mean, I don't think that he knows how to take accountability as far as certain things. He'll like pass it off to something else. I don't think he's a good. I don't think he does a great job with like lying. I don't want to say lying, but basically lying. I think Vince was better at it. Vince would make it seem like he was like legit honest with a whole bunch of his takes and decisions, but Triple H just be saying stuff, i.e., R-Truth being let go and then bringing them back. Hey, he's back, y'all. Oh, yeah, he's back. Yeah, we got y'all. Yeah, it was no point to firing if y'all was going to bring him back. The situation with Brock, they knew that Brock was going to be controversial because everything that's going on with that trial and stuff. And then all of a sudden, Triple H said, oh, John Cena wanted to face him, so basically that's why he back. You threw Cena under the bus because you didn't want to accept that accountability. Y'all also stopped doing those live questionnaires. Now y'all do it, which is very smart, by the way, because you knew that people was going to be talking about it. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, with the AJ thing, if AJ doesn't win like a major title leading into the end of his career, I will not be mad. I'm going to cherish AJ Styles as a competitor, honestly. I think people should have cherished Jey Uso's championship run because a lot of people felt a certain way that it should have been longer. And I knew it wasn't going to be a long championship reign, but I enjoyed it at the same time. And I think that we need to do that with AJ. I don't think that AJ's had like bad matches. He haven't had bad matches. He's been very, very solid and stuff like that. And going against a new person like Dominic Mysterio and then all of this other stuff that's happening, like he's pretty cool and he's pretty dope. You know, if this is his last year, which would be crazy because we'll have Cena and Goldberg and AJ Styles retiring, and then I'm sure somebody else too. That'd be crazy. But still, that's all I wanted to talk about for a little bit, man. Them anti-establishment stuff is so repetitive, and oh well, somebody try to hold me down, and I gotta sit here and break through, and I gotta do what I gotta do. Like it's so repetitive, and I ain't feeling them like that no more. Like we just had Karrion Kross the situation, and if this does accumulate into a story with Karrion Kross, I still don't care about it because everybody's doing that. Oh man, everybody, that's a life lesson. Somebody don't want you where you supposed to be at. Like you got to get over that. But as far as the AJ thing, we'll see where it goes. But let me know what you guys think, man. Leave some comments. I'll comment. I try to get back to you guys as soon as I can. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Hope you guys and gals have a great day. This is Chris Classic. Let's take it home.